Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. It's Monday. The weekend goes so quickly, guys. I swear the weekend goes just by just so fast. But it's Monday. Happy Monday to you guys. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope everything is good. I had a good morning so far, so that was good for a Monday. So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope these messages are helping you. More importantly, that you're being encouraged and uplifted here on this channel. And please continue to share the videos. Thank you for my new subscribers. Like I said in prior videos, some of these messages are going to be intense and some days it's going to be lighter. It depends on like conversations that I have with people in general and what they're feeling, what they're going through. We talk about it and and I share some of that on the channel without going into details. But a lot of my material comes from within, and it comes from my personal experiences. Like I always tell everyone on this channel, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a social worker, I don't have a degree in that category. I do have a degree, but not in that category. I'm someone who's gone through so much hell and craziness and toxicity of all sorts that I share some ways that I've gotten out of it with the help of God and persevering and just self care and healing. Healing is the key factor, people, because if we don't heal and it hurts, then we cannot move forward. We stay stuck in a pain and stagnated. So I discuss certain ways that I have gotten out of it. I mean, I still go through my moments of, feeling like crap and etc., but not too often as I did in the past because I worked very hard on my healing, you know. And now as I do that, I learn my self-worth. And guys, when you start to heal and learn your self-worth, you don't stay stagnated or stuck in that pain. So, but before we jump into this topic of discussion, I wanted to talk to you guys for a moment. For those who are listening here, male or female, it's important to go out and vote. We are in a crucial part of this election, and I'm not here to really talk about politics, but to talk about people's rights being eliminated little by little, and if you want to keep your freedoms and rights, it's, because some of them are already being lost. It's important to make sure, number one, that you're registered to vote. And number two, that you go out and actually vote. This is an important election. And I can't encourage you enough how important it is to be out there to vote. And never think that your vote doesn't count because it could be 100 people thinking their vote doesn't count. And if they don't vote, that's minus 100 votes. So please make sure your registration is active and that everything is in place and make sure you're out there to vote, whether it's an absent ballotee or if you're just going to you're going physically out there to vote. So I can't stress this enough, and I will be saying this each video because it's important to remind people to do that. That's where you take back your power and your control by being out there, to vote, to make a difference. So, guys, now that I've said that, um, I'm also going to say once again that this is not a no judge. This is a no judgment channel. We're not here to put people down, condemn, judge, none of that. In reference to that being said, I was on I was on YouTube looking at something in reference to Jennifer Hudson. And I couldn't believe like what people were saying. I actually watched a video of her a while back when she did a video. She was being interviewed by Oprah, and she was talking about the murder of her mother, her nephew, and her brother. And I just, tears were just flowing down my eyes listening to that story. This woman has been through hell in a handbasket. And people were talking about her relationship with, what's this guy's name? I can't even remember now. Um, I don't remember his name right now, but it was, I guess, this last one. And people were judging her, about how much she's sinning and doing this and that. And to the point where they were commenting under my channel because I was saying that, she's a person who loves God. I think that's what I said. And people were just judging and being condemning and saying a whole lot of things. And I was just, wow, you know. And we don't do that here on this channel. If I find any negative comments about people saying about what I'm doing to help other people or whatever, it will be deleted to the point where people can't comment who are sending those comments, because I don't play that here. We're here to heal, to uplift, to, help people grow and evolve. It's enough of that other stuff out there with, the negativity and the fakeness and the this and that. And what I have learned to do as I'm on this healing journey is to cut off, block, and delete, because I have zero tolerance for people who judge other people, who want to play God in people's life, and who want to, keep people down and stuck in pain. It's enough of that already. So we're not here to do that. With that being said, everybody, let's jump into this topic of discussion. And it's called Make Yourself a Priority when it comes down to your healing. That's important. Doesn't matter what anybody else is trying to talk about or what they're saying. I tune all of that stuff out. And it took me a long time to learn to do that, because I was at first hesitant, afraid what people are going to say, do, whatever, because I was so stuck on being subservient to people who didn't really give a damn about me. They just wanted to use me in any way, shape, or form, and then throw me away when they got tired of it. And I'm no longer the same Lisa because of it, because of so much loss. Just somebody who I talk to a lot on Facebook just passed away. And it just, when I found out about it over the weekend, I was so upset about it. It just kind of broke my heart learning. I know that she was sick, but, it seemed like she was getting better. And then I find out. And it just, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. We are all living on borrowed time. And it doesn't matter if we're 25 or 65 years old. It doesn't matter, because you're young and you have your strength and energy. Anything can happen. We are all living on borrowed time. And as I said before, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And when I see people engaging in all toxic craziness and toxicity, I just want to be away from that stuff. It's important that we take care of ourselves. you know um I've learned a lot of lessons here, learning lessons. you know and one of the lessons I learned, how important it is to heal myself, because if I stay in a place stuck and stagnated, I can't grow, I can't evolve, and I can't self-care and self-love. It's important that we love ourselves, love who we are. It doesn't matter if other people, there'll be people in this world who's going to love you, and people who are going to hate and rate you as you grow and evolve. But that's their problem. And one of the reasons, what I find out with myself, why they are like that with me, is because they can't use me anymore. I'm no longer subservient to what their needs are and what they have going on. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me anymore. What's important is healing, helping other people to heal from inner hurts and pain and scars and things that have broken down their life. That's what's important to me. So I don't care about that. So they're not a priority. So, it's like a 2-year-old in a candy store. You say no to them and they twist and turn and do cartwheels down the aisle, because of the throwing tantrums. And that's what these people who are in that space do. And I leave them there to do that while I'm over here taking care of me and building me up, which is important. um, Heal and learn to love yourself, because as you start to look in the mirror and you see the things, you start to sit and reflect on things that you allow others to do to you, or people just done to you that made you feel broken down, busted, and disgusted. And there are ways to heal from that. You know, when you love yourself, you learn not to settle for less than what you deserve. You learn what you deserve, and you're not going to settle for less. You know, I used to hear, before I started this healing journey, I used to hear a lot about closing my eyes to certain things that people used to do to me. Well, that's just how that person is, you know, just close your eyes and just accept it, basically. And I used to find myself doing that until I learned that I matter too, just as much as the next person. And so do you. You matter just as much as the next person. Your needs, your wants, you know, everything about you is just as important, you know. And it's important that we take care of ourselves. And as you start this healing process and you learn to love yourself, you learn to self care, take care of yourself. Because when people are not in that space, sometimes they're not taking care of themselves. You know, they're neglecting their health, they're neglecting every aspect of their life because they're not taking, they're busy focusing on other things instead of themselves. It's important that we focus on ourselves. It doesn't mean we're being selfish, because if you're not taking care of your physical and mental health, then you can't take care of anything outside of that. And it's important that you do this. And the process can be slow, it can be painful, it can be, well, you know, all of those things. But it's important to keep going and don't give up on you. You also learn to rely on God and yourself instead of being codependent on other people. I used to do that all the time, you know. And when I started losing all these people in my life, I realized that, you know, I was codependent on the wrong thing, on people who didn't care. Because as I started um, grieving over these losses, there was nobody around but me, and I had to look to God. I was forced to sit down and look at my life, look at myself, and look at who I had around me. And then I start to turn to God, you know, and realize that. Let me tell you guys about a program I did. I wanted to, you know, and this is before I started the deep healing that I do now today. Um, it's when I was in college. I used to study a lot in a library, and to the point where I felt like I lived there. But anyway, the librarian and the director um, got accustomed to me being there, and they allowed me to rent space from time to time. So I rented space and invited 7 women. I believe I talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it once again here. Um, 7 women were invited to the conference room at the library. And I made sure they were women of different backgrounds. You know, some was very stoic and reserved, and the others were not, because I wanted to see a reaction and what reaction I was going to get by them participating in this program. These women, 7 women, did not know why they were there, but they agreed to participate in this little program that I told them about. When I got there, everybody have coffee, whatever they want, you know, sat down, and they were curious to know why they were there and why I invited them. And I talked about chaos, conflict, abuse. You know, when I brought up the topic of all these things and why they were there, everybody started talking all at once, to my surprise. Because I was asking them, have they ever had incidents of these things that I was discussing? And everybody started talking. And I said, wait, one at a time, one at a time. You know, and they all told me about the experiences, some of abuse, some of, you know, conflicts and situations at work, chaotic things, toxicity. And each of those 7 women, because I think it was 2 hours that I reserved the time for, And they told me about their experiences. Now, after each of them told me their experience, I asked, well, how do they resolve it? Some people, you know, most of them, I think, some may have retired early, others just exit the situation. That was their way of resolving it. And I talked about what I was doing and why they were there, because I wanted to see, you know, how many women were dealing with these kind of things and how they were, getting through. And it turned out in a way that I didn't think it would. You know, people go through these things, no matter what culture or background that you come from. As we go through things, and sometimes men go through these things too, but they don't talk about it like we do as women. Maybe some do, but many of them may not. Um, so after this, that's when I decided to develop my small business. And it started off with conflict at the workplace. But as I started to do that, I started to implement this other program that I do here on YouTube about healing, because during the shutdown, I started to lose people. And not just one or two, but in groups of like 10 people. And right now, like I said, somebody else just passed away. Somebody else in my family is extremely sick. That might happen as well. And it goes on and on. How do people deal with these things when it happens like a domino effect? And I started to sit down and look at my life and look at what I was doing and just asking God to help me as I take steps. And I always talk about that, people, because God is not a genie in a bottle. You sit and say what you want and you sit back and wait for it to happen. It doesn't work like that. You have to take steps toward what you're asking for. And no matter how I feel sometimes, that's why music is a healing force to me, because sometimes I don't feel like doing anything. But to get myself out of that, I put on music. Just before getting on here, I just listened to some really nice music that I haven't heard in a long time that brought me back to the 80s, and just, listen to that. And it changes my whole mood. It uplifts me, to where I need to be, because nurturing yourself, helps you to self-worth, know your self-worth, and to clear your mind of whatever things that may be worrying you. So that's a way of taking care of yourself as well. Music, you know um things that uplift you and make you feel good. If you play an instrument, do that as well. One of the things I was reflecting on over the weekend is, when I said learning lessons that took me a long time to learn. Especially when I was in my 30s and I had my son, and my mom was telling me certain things to do, because I had an attitude in the past about, certain types of bills can go on the back burner and get paid later. I don't want to deal with that. My attitude, honestly, was I don't want to deal with that shit right now. That was how I was. And I was like, listen, this can get paid later, blah, blah. My mother would say, listen, this is how you do A, B, C, and D, E, F, and G, etc. Right? And I got tired of hearing it, but she was right. I just didn't want to hear it. It was to the point one time, and I don't even remember the entire conversation. Like, she was telling me something to the point that it was aggravating me. I was cooking dinner for me and my son. It was something that I should have done that I didn't do. And she was going on and on for about an hour, to the point where I put the phone down, finish what I'm doing, go back to the phone. She didn't even know I was gone, and she just kept going on. And I, feel bad about saying this, but hey, we're on this channel, it's real. I hung up. First, I gave the phone to my son, and she said, "Put your mother back on." And then, because he was younger then, he must have been about 6 or something like that. But anyway, she kept going on. I just hung up. And so an hour later, she calls back. That's when we didn't have the cell phones. I guess this is when we still had cell phones, but people still had house phones. She calls back again and says, like I was saying. And I was like, oh my God, But if I had listened to her back then, things, because I am listening. Now, I heard everything she said. I just didn't want to be bothered with it because that's just the old version of how I was back then. Um, Everything that she said to me, I have applied in my life and see the growth from it. And back then, I just didn't want to be bothered with it. Had I started back then, I would be way ahead, you know. And I think about this and I think about everything that she taught me and told me, and I'm applying it in my life today. And it was hard, difficult, because I just had to change my way of thinking about it and the way I was doing things. And it's a lot of work, people, to look at yourself and to sit down and say, I don't want this in my life anymore. Even when it came to, certain people in my life, and she would say, these people are not A, B, C, and D, whatever. And I just didn't want to see it because I always felt that, okay, we all have something, but I can help change that person for the better. And you can't, that person has to want that as well, you know? And just learning lessons the hard way, because writing that will, and I wrote it until the wheels almost fell off or whatever, because I didn't want to learn the lessons, because I didn't want to let go. And sometimes you have to let go of the past and the things that's bringing you down, that's not lifting you up. And I couldn't see it at the time, and I had to learn it. And so, I had to go through things over and over again. And when you go through a lesson that you didn't learn over and over again, it gets worse each time you don't learn it, over and over. And attracting narcissistic individuals to my life, people who don't care, and takers, leeches, and stuff like that. And I was being subservient because, oh, I'm going to help this person grow. You can't help somebody grow if they're coming into your life for the wrong reasons. There are people out there who don't want to work, who don't want to spend their money. They want to spend yours. They want to take advantage of what you got because they don't want to do the work, and I had to learn as well to let that go and let people be who they are over there while I go over here and heal from all this toxic stuff, you know. And I've done it and I'm still doing it. And my mom, she's no longer here, but she would be proud of it. The other night I was crying and said, I just wish I could talk to my mom again, tell her I have applied all these things. And everything she said to me was true, guys. I didn't want to admit it, but it is. And, what my mom taught me, she taught me how to depend on myself and not be codependent on other people, and how to trust in God and keep it moving instead of people. Saying people will let you down, at any given point in time. She used to tell that to my older sister as well. But I really zoomed in on that after she passed away, guys, and started just working on myself. Like, and it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it at the end. I promise you that. Because as you grow, heal, and evolve, you get rid of the toxicity. I was afraid to do that because then you lose people out of your life when you set boundaries. My therapist always started with set boundaries. Lisa, set boundaries, and if you have to be alone by yourself for a little bit, and I'm not talking about relationships or just having people around you, learn to love you, learn to love your, be like your own company at times, because sometimes you need that in order to grow and heal and learn about yourself. You start to learn things about yourself that you didn't even realize that you love, and gifts that you have that you didn't recognize before because you're busy, putting that attention on something or somebody else. And even if you have a lot going on in your life, take a break out, a time out every day, an hour or two to yourself to do things that uplift your spirit, that makes you feel good. That helps your mental and physical health as well. And don't worry about what other people have to say. I learned to tune that out. And it's not easy at times, but as I continue to heal, grow, and move forward, I tune all that stuff out, people. I don't have time for toxic stuff, and people want to argue and fight and whatever. And it got to the point that that stuff was getting so bad to the point where I said, you know what, I'm relocating. I'm getting the hell out of here. I had enough, you know. And I just got up one day and just worked towards, asked God to help me as I put forth the effort. He did. It wasn't easy. And I just got up and relocated because I don't want the drama. I don't want the negativity. I don't want people putting a chokehold on me of toxicity. You know, and like I always talk about, when it comes to relationships, whether it's a family setting, whether it's a you know, personal romantic relationship, or just a friendship, these things are supposed to uplift us and enhance our life, not tear down and destroy. And people, be careful of, as you start to feel better and do better, because be people that are envious of that. They don't want to see you thrive. They don't want to see you do better. You know, they want you to stay down because that's what they feel you deserve. You know, the people like that, that's toxic, you know, and know that you don't deserve that. You deserve to be around people who enhance your life, you know, who's going to, you know, see you grow and be happy to see you do better. Not somebody who wants you broken down, busted, and disgusted and out in the street, no place to live, no place to go. That's toxicity. And, you know, and I associate all of that as well with narcissistic individuals, you know, and people who have some severe mental health issues as well, you know. And it's important that we keep going, you know, and that's why I always encourage you guys to start with therapy. You don't have to let people know your business as well. You can always Google a therapist and you know, check out them online. You can do an online weekly with them check-in. You don't have to be there in person. You can do online, and there's online bereavement groups as well. Take care of yourself. It's so important. And don't ever allow anyone to tell you not to, you know, because people like that are not looking out for your, you know, who you are. So keep moving, keep going. You know, these are the things that I'm learning as I take care of myself and be at peace instead of in pieces because of what someone did or didn't do or whatever. I don't worry about those things anymore. And the reason why I don't worry about it anymore, because I've transmuted that and given all of that to God, no matter who it is, whether it's family, exes, whatever. I learned to say, hey, God, I can't deal with this. I'm giving this to you because it no longer belongs in my life. I'm not the same Lisa as I used to be, not even 2, 3 years ago. And I will tell you how I feel. I don't have to be out of character or anything like that, but I'll tell you, you know, I'm not in for dealing with toxicity. I won't deal with it. Cut off, block, and delete. And I used to block people and then, you know, feel sorry, unblock them. I don't do that because what I do now is sit and communicate. We're going to have discussions, and then I set boundaries. And when people skip, hop, and jump and disrespect the boundaries, I just cut off, block, and delete because that is a resolution. You know, whatever works for you guys, so that you can stay in a place of healing and moving forward to take care of yourself, so be it. You know, and learn to trust God with everything else. And that's what I do. It's better when you're at peace, you know, you take care of yourself, you do better. You know, your life don't have to be, you know, filled with toxicity and all this craziness. You know, that stuff belongs on a TV reality show, not in your real life. So that's the message today, guys. Please share this with other people because there are people who are depressed. And sometimes we can be depressed because we have toxicity around us. And sometimes we don't know what to do to, you know, get rid of it. What I like to do is set boundaries, have communications with individuals who are bringing that. And then, you know, and if the boundaries are not being respected, I just let it go, you know. And it's not easy, you know, it takes time. And then please reach out to a therapist to talk because that's an outlet for the pain as well. Whatever you're going through, you don't have to share that with other people, but and when you share with a therapist, all those things are private and confidential, you know, and you don't have to tell other people your business, you know. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all of you. Continue to show up here Monday through Friday, sometimes on a Saturday if I miss a day during the week, due to other responsibilities. Just keep showing up. And I'm going to be talking about all these things. And before I leave here, and for those who have dealt with abuse like myself, and I'm talking about verbal and physical abuse, know that you don't have to stay in that situation. Please reach out for some help. I know what that's like. I've been there, been through that, and learn to get away from those situations. And just keep showing up at the channel and just hearing words of encouragement. And let's keep this going. Thank you for my new subscribers. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And you guys have a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. I will always shed love and light here and encourage you to be the best that you can be. Thank you again, and you guys have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.